Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you are new. I am the stepson of Krypton.
And I'm Mantis.
That way. And today we are discussing Captain America 4 The Adamantium War. Don't want to waste any time, guys. We are going to go ahead and get on into the discussion. All right, guys. So when we say Captain America 4 The Adamantium War, Mantis, do you want to go over what we are talking about when we say that?
Yeah, there was a recent trailer in an IMAX showing of another film. Obviously, it's, you have the previews at the beginning, so it's one of those previews, and it was for the Captain America for Brave New World, and in there you can hear Harrison Ford's character, pretty much say the line that there is a reason that Captain America needs to be, or that Anthony Mackie, the Falcon, or Falcon, needs to help Harrison Ford kind of bring the country together, bring the world together, and it's because they are fighting over adamantium. Which again, I was asking Cal previously. I was like, that's the first time I had ever heard that word in the MCU, in a trailer, in a movie, anything, which is very interesting. Again, we'd done a previous video on how they may or may not bring back X-Men, since Marvel has the full rights to that now.
Wolverine. Cool guy. Everybody's favorite. Wolverine. Favorite X-Man. Look, I've been going over your file, and I've made the decision to fire you because you are worthless.
And Fox doesn't own it anymore, so we were assuming a reboot was coming, and there's been some rumors on that we discussed as well, but didn't include Wolverine in there. So, which is an interesting thing about adamantium being the kind of focal, keystone hinge point on what's going on in this movie, and so yeah, I watched it. We can link or put a link in the description for the trailer so you guys can check it out. But it is, he says adamantium has turned us against each other is the quote that he says. You don't see him mouth it because it's during one of those, like, there's an action scene going on and then it's a voice dubbed over that. But you can tell it's Harrison Ford. It did sound kind of weird when we were talking about, like, man, did this sound like AI or fan created or something? But no, it's, we've seen it. I saw it in one place. Cal saw the video from a different user as well. So, and again, we trust comic book movie. We don't think we're going to put anything up there that is
Fake news.
necessarily, yeah, fake news. Particularly that's easily to be debunked in an IMAX trailer. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff there. And again, the funny thing about it was that I laughed a little bit about, because supposedly, and this part is rumor, because it involves the plot, obviously, but supposedly Japan will be the first country to extract the adamantium from Tiamut, which after, I don't know, we maybe have talked about this a little bit, but it's like, there's a giant celestial just sitting in the middle of the ocean, and no one's mentioned a fucking thing about it on any of the movies. Why is it there? So maybe now this is what they're going to use that for, and if they're, whoever can mine that out of there is going to be, very, I won't say rich, but have a leg up, because as we all know, adamantium, all this stuff, vibranium, is all going to be used for weapons applications and defense contractors. So,
Of course. Now,
yeah,
guys, let me preface this by saying, because Mantis and I had discussed this the other night when we were talking about doing this video, we understand that adamantium has been mentioned in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and that is loosely tied to the MCU. What we also understand, whether fans want to admit it or not, is there is no definitive answer on whether or not Deadpool is actually crossing over fully into the MCU. We had done a video that we don't believe you're going to see him in an Avengers level movie, just because of, you would literally kill the character trying to bring him into something PG-13. He may, if they do a Deadpool 4, and I know people are going to say, oh, there's definitely on. No, even Ryan Reynolds says if they do a Deadpool 4, and they tie it more into the MCU, yes, then adamantium will have been mentioned, because obviously with Wolverine and even his katanas were adamantium. We're not counting that because there is no, and actually, even the article we read where they said this is the first time it's being mentioned in the MCU, they weren't even counting the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Okay, so we get that. We understand that there is the chance that if it did, then Deadpool and Wolverine takes the trophy of first movie to have mentioned adamantium in the MCU. Now, for those of you wondering, so you saw Tiamut in this Eternals movie. We know that during the emergence, Sersi uses the Unimind and kills him, and he's basically just this hollow shell. According to the article we were referencing, they said basically she turned him into adamantium in the process of basically killing him. Celestials aren't normally in the comics, or at least from the beginning. I'm not 100% up on all of the comics with the Celestials on what's been retconned, but they weren't always made they're not always made out of adamantium, or at least their armor isn't. Celestials are actually disembodied figures within that armor. They aren't just big robots. That's their armor, and it's not necessarily always made out of adamantium. She turned him into, at least that's how the MCU is playing it, she turned Tiamut into adamantium. Now there's just a shit ton. Yeah, one line of dialogue.
Right. Yeah, so that's very interesting. Again, I'm cool with it. It's kind of a cool little precursor, hopefully, to bringing the reboot of the X-Men in there, including Wolverine. I don't hate anything about what Hugh Jackman did as Logan. Great, awesome. But again, he can't play Wolverine forever, and I'm here for a reboot and get back to, Scott being the leader of the X-Men, and all of that. So I don't want to get into the X-Men side of it. But one other thing I did find interesting, because this is kind of a cap for as well, was the runtime on this movie, which was mentioned as well. This will be the shortest Captain America movie that is going to make it to the big screen at an hour and 58 minutes. And which I found pretty interesting, because we've talked about how many reshoots they did of this movie, and they still cut it down quite a bit. So I'm fine with it being under 2 hours. That's the thing. Like, I like that it's under 2 hours, because I've said this, like, an hour and a half to 2 hours is where it should be. Any longer than that, it just shit drags on, and I don't like it. So I'm good with that. But why is there a reason, like a bad reason, that it's under 2 hours now?
Well, so word around the campfire was they did all these reshoots. We did a couple videos on it, but then the audience reactions still weren't great, right? Now, one thing also to note, if you remember from Falcon and Winter Soldier, the suit he has at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is his new Falcon Captain America suit, is not the same suit he's sporting in Captain America 4. They put him in a Captain America suit, just like Chris Evans, Steve Rogers has in this movie. So it's got to make you wonder, like, are those things, because that wasn't from what I saw, what I read. I have a couple articles, and obviously I'll post them in when I edit the video, that when they showed the new Captain America suit at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, the series there, it wasn't well received, right? Which means at least Marvel right now is at a point where they're starting to listen a little bit to their fans and trying to do corrections. So maybe they cut out enough of the stuff that people didn't like, because they're like, look, we're already well over budget. We're 400 million plus on this movie. We did the reshoots, and some of these things aren't working. So maybe they cut out even more just to say, hey, this was the things that kind of like either audience didn't like, or we don't have a way to make it make sense with all of the other established things in the MCU timeline.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to tell. And again, at least from the dialogue that was in a couple trailers of this film, you can tell that at least the plot is the president wants to bring and use Falcon is the new Captain America to bring the world together type of thing. But I think sinisterly, he wants him to help him gain access to the adamantium for power reasons, obviously. So, interesting thing though I found out too is adamantium has can absorb radiation,
including the
so
gamma radiation surrounding the Hulk.
the Hulk, or I guess I don't know, I don't know the backstory on Red Hulk. Is it this? Is that not gamma? Is that a different radio? I don't know, but maybe that's the key therein that against the protagonist there of the Red Hulk as well. So who knows?
It'd be interesting to see because again, like for me, when I watched that last trailer, and the trailer had hundreds of thousands of views, I'm like, this doesn't sound right. I don't know. Like again, I just saw it off of off of one article and I clicked on it. I gotta assume that's that is the real thing. It seemed a little weird, but then again, with all the reshoots and cutouts and everything else they've done, maybe that's just how they've mashed up the trailer together. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We've got less than about a month before that movie releases.
I was gonna say maybe the voiceover of that line that Harrison Ford does, he was high as shit when he did it. Who knows?
He does like to, and he's very honest and open about him always being high, especially during interviews.
I'm gotta lay off the gym though.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
Now I will say, guys, I have not seen like the Marvels. I didn't go and watch that. There are several things really. I mean, I'm trying to think past the Eternals movie and maybe a couple of others. Like I haven't seen a lot of the newest stuff coming out of the MCU, so I don't know if they've referenced Tiamut being out there in the ocean. I think there's one show or movie that they do a brief mention of something, but I don't even remember what that was, and I don't know of any other one that actually mentions that. So it is kind of nice to say, hey, this massive being that just started appearing out of the ocean, and we saw this massive being. We saw Erisham, the judge, basically towering over Earth. Maybe we're going to reference those guys a little bit. We're all worried about Tony Stark not being Iron Man anymore. What about the planet-sized guy that just threatened us? Like maybe we'll put a little focus on that, right? And not girl power. Sorry, slipped. So like it's kind of nice to see them get referenced again. And we know from the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie, obviously which is another kind of weird thing when we talk about like in the comics, the Celestials are basically wrapped in armor, but they're disembodied figures. I mean, they're basically on that, that's how the comics have portrayed Celestials. But from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, we know that they talk about the severed head of a Celestial, and they're harvesting the brain matter. So
it's called Nowhere, the severed head of an ancient celestial being.
A little weird. I think they're going to go a different route than the comics has done with the Celestials. Again, where instead of just being kind of a suit of armor, they're playing it like those big guys are just the Celestials, which I'm fine with. That doesn't bother me. Because we see obviously Galactus, which hopefully will be coming up in the upcoming Fantastic Four, the First Steps movie, that Galactus is humanoid looking, but he's also that big. So, maybe they'll play it, I don't know how they're doing it. I kind of worry that they're maybe kind of bouncing back and forth as far as on the continuity. Like, oh, we're going to play them as big armored looking creatures. Oh, but we're mining the brains of a Celestial. And it's like, which is it? Who knows?
Yeah, it could be both. Maybe when they die, they turn solid and not our energy anymore. I mean, again, you mentioned Sersi doing some funky stuff there. So that could have, like the one line of dialogue just fixes that of the power that she used to get rid of him. So who knows?
Not me, for sure. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to catch up on my my MCU stuff, guys. But guys, let us know how you feel about. Are you excited that if that is what's going to happen to Adamantium's coming into the MCU, which means Wolverine will hopefully, even though Adamantium, the whole point about it being in his claws is it's such a rare metal. Well, there's a huge ass, gigantic humanoid stone creature now that is apparently made of adamantium, so it's not really going to be the rarest metal on Earth anymore. But then again, neither is fucking vibranium when you look at what Wakanda and everything going on in there. So apparently these really ridiculously powerful rare metals are really actually abundant. Uru is the only other strong metal that apparently is not in abundance in this goddamn universe. So let us know, though, how you feel about that. Are you excited to kind of see mention of the Celestials again? How are you feeling about the Captain America 4 movie and it coming out? And do you think Captain America 4 Adamantium War is a better title than Captain America 4 Brave New World? I like it better. I think so.
I do.
I think it's cool. Got good old Cap right there for you MCU fans. I'm working on the Marvel side. And then, if you have made it with us this far, you might as well go ahead and give the video a like. Hey, I got it right this time. He's showing you where. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on. Obviously, we're going to do more MCU videos. We're going to review the movie when it comes out. I'm not going to go see it in theaters, but to be fair, I didn't see the first 3 Captain Americas in theaters. Okay,
I'm not either. I'm just gonna say, we talked about this. There's very few movies that we go see in theaters. And maybe this movie will be great. Who knows? But why? I don't know. I'm a cheapskate when it comes to this stuff. So
the older I get, the more and more introverted I get. So the idea of going out around the people, especially in this area here, isn't super appealing. So it takes a bigger level movie. It takes an Avengers level movie, like maybe Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars. I'll definitely go see in theaters. But like Captain America, especially this one, no. Watch it when it comes out on streaming, and we will let you guys know. We'll obviously do some videos on that. So if you aren't subscribed and don't have that little bell notified, you will not get alerted when we release these new videos. And and might as well click the like on there, because YouTube, like, that helps out the channel. YouTube's really, really strict on that, especially when you're dealing with small channels like ours. So your help is appreciated, as well as all of our subscribers, both new and old. You guys are very, very appreciated. You guys are the reason we do this channel. So, Mantis, do you have anything else to add to the viewers?
No.
You couldn't have done like a have your pet spay or neutered? Fine. All right.
Well, I've used that a couple times, and I figured everyone's pets, should be spitting blanks at this point. So,
all right, before that goes off the rails, guys, that is going to do it for us on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, we will see you then.
Later. I said spitting blanks.